Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Drunk Camera Reviews. We're back after a somewhat of a hiatus, and I have with me a camera that I paid $10 for a few months ago, and I have used so little because it is just a pain in the butt to use. But I'm here to do a review about it anyways. So I'm going to show you guys around the Kodak VR35 K10. A little bit of history about the VR35 series from Kodak. It was a line of course, 35mm point-and-shoot cameras that was released in 1986. After, Kodak stopped making cameras for about 17 years, and then they come back to the market with this giant brick of plastic that is not very good. I'll just tell you that much. This model, the K10, was probably, in what I've seen, one of the better models of the VR35. Now, there is also the VR35 K12, which has a faster lens. It's a 35 f2.8. This one is a 35 f3.5, but this one I found for $10, which came new in box. Believe it or not, someone's grandmother bought this camera and decided that they were never ever going to use it, so they gave it to me new in box. New, right? Yeah, new. After their kids got a hold of it and shoved a load of film in there and then broke the film plate. So yeah, this is the box that this camera came in. That was new. Just gonna throw that out of the way. Unique flash gives better pictures. It's not that unique. It actually kind of sucks. So this camera is definitely filled with some features that I haven't seen on other cameras, but I would say for good reason, because it's not very good. This camera, I do have a few photos to show you from this camera, but to be honest, if you're in a pickle, I would rather use my phone. All right, so get that out of the way. Now, as you can see, this is a clamshell style camera. And of course, it just opens up just like this. This is how you actually turn on the camera. And to be honest, this is one of my main problems with this camera, because all the other cameras that I do use either have a switch or they just slide open. Like the Canon MC, the Olympus Stylus Epic, it makes it so much more of a hassle to, and there's no one-handed operation. You can't just one-hand this open. You have to use two hands to flip this open, and it honestly is quite a pain if you're trying to get a fast shot. But flip that open, you can see there is the Kodak Ektanar lens, which is a 35mm f3.5, and this version does have autofocus. There are other versions which are a fixed focus, and there's even some with a fixed aperture, which is crazy. You also have here on the front, you have your window, which is what you see out of. You have your two focusing sensors, and you also, I do believe this is the exposure sensor as well. Now, I'll get to the exposure meter later, but you also have, of course, your flash, and weirdest thing, I just don't get this whole clamshell thing. It's got this window right here. I don't get it. It's not, man, looking back, not a great design. But you also have your button for the fill flash. Now, this camera, annoyingly, is flash. The flash cannot be turned off. There is no way to turn off the flash, but you have a button to turn the flash on all the time, and that you just hold in when you're taking the picture right here, and that will turn the flash on all the time. If we go to the top of the camera, you of course have, weirdly enough, a manual rewind, and you also have a manual wind. Now, I don't know why they did this. It is very, very strange for such a for Kodak to come back with a camera, a point-and-shoot camera, and not have automatic winding and rewinding. It's so strange. And of course, you have your shutter button here and your film counter there. But I just don't get it. It's such a weird thing to me. Now, really, on the back of the camera, you of course have your film window and your autofocus confirmation light. So when you flip this open and it confirms autofocus, it'll flash if it doesn't affirm focus, if you're a little bit too close, but you'll see it does turn green when you are in focus. So if you focus anywhere, some places you'll see if it's a little bit too close, it's probably because it's focusing on the glass right here. But it will blink or it'll stay solid. That's all it basically does. On the back here, you have, of course, your film door. Now, this is the part that the children broke because they jammed the film in there. So now this just kind of flips around here willy-nilly. So you have to be really careful when loading film. But as you can see here, you got a little thing for Kodak VR. It actually did come with a roll of Kodak. That was the one that was jammed in there. I shot through it. I haven't got it developed yet. It's still sitting in my fridge. So I'll probably do that at another time. Now, when you have to get this thing closed again, you have to kind of finagle it so that it, there we go, lays completely flat. Now, this side, you have nothing, but on the bottom, you have your, of course, your film rewind button, so you can rewind your film, but then you also have your battery door. Now, this camera used a very strange battery. I've never seen anyone that made a point-and-shoot camera that used a, so strange, caution may leak and or flame if damaged. Good Lord, it's a 9-volt lithium battery. I mean, thank God it still works, because I could not imagine myself finding another one of those. Good on Kodak. I mean, they made a battery that lasted, I don't even remember when this camera was first produced, but it was never used, so when I opened it up, it started working, which I will give them some props for that. And it also came with this handy-dandy little lanyard so you could hang it around your neck. That's basically everything there is to know about the Kodak VR35 K10. Now, get this over here, and we have some pictures that I got from the Kodak VR35 K10. I did it, I took a roll of Tri-X because, I mean, this camera was just such a pain in the ass to use. I rarely ever did get a chance on using it. I brought it to Austin, Texas. I did a tour around the town, and I took a few photos, but I found myself using my Olympus Stylus Epic and my Mini Lux more. I mean, even my Leica M3 I used more than this thing, and I barely pull that thing out anymore now that I have a Mini Lux, because it's so much easier to just point and shoot and you're done. This camera definitely has a unique lens. The issue is the metering system that it's coupled with is not great. It usually has a tendency to overexpose rather than have basically an even exposure. A lot of these photos were a little bit too bright, or it was just very soft. Actually, almost all of these photos turned out to be way too soft for my liking. And I was kind of bummed about that because I had seen some photos online. I had looked around, saw what the characteristic of the lens was like. A lot of them just turned out to be not really that good. I mean, on prints, it does look all right. I mean, I got some nice photo paper. I mean, from far away, they can be considered all right. When you look at them up close, you can see that it's not the sharpest lens. I mean, for $10, like this camera cost me $10, and the lady was actually thinking about giving it to me for $5. But I was like, no, here's 10. That's perfectly fine. Fine with me. I mean, if you get a chance, I mean, if you see this in like a thrift shop, I mean, if you want to grab it, sure, it's gonna take photos. But if you want a camera that you really don't care about, this is a good camera because you can beat the crap out of this thing. It's a chunk of plastic. I mean, it had no light leaks, and I mean, this thing was basically brand new. So it is going to take all right photos. I mean, the inability to turn off the flash is incredibly annoying because I usually like to sneak shots, like do some like sneaky street photography stuff, but if all of a sudden a flash goes off, then it's like, well, that goes out the fucking window. This camera, if you do find one, I mean, if you want to pick it up, go for it. That's all up to your discretion. I'm probably going to put this on a shelf and never, ever, ever touch it again. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the Kodak VR35 K10. If you want to see more of my videos, be sure to check out my channel and subscribe to see more of my videos. I will be making a few more in the near future, trying to save up some money so I could do some stuff. So I didn't really have a chance to pick up any more cameras at the moment, but I do have some on the way. Those will be a surprise for you. If you did like the video, be sure to give it a like and comment and let me know how I did, or let me know how much I suck. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Go out and take pictures.